John, as we said, is a savage, but a happy, amenable savage.
American officials discussed plans with the Bikini natives for the evacuation of the atoll. The islanders are a nomadic group and are well pleased that the Yanks are going to add a little variety to their lives.
In the Marshall Islands, the 1st of March, 1954 became known as the Day of the Two Suns. One sun rose in the east, as it had for the millennium that people had lived there. But then a second sun appeared in the west. Presently, something like snow began to fall on Rongelap Atoll. It came down on the islanders' homes, their coconut trees, their beaches. Their children played in it. What it was, what the winds had brought to Rongelap, was radioactive fallout from the largest nuclear weapon ever tested by the United States, 100 miles away on Bikini Island. By nightfall, the islanders had become acutely ill. Their hair and fingernails began to fall out. They were covered with burns. Yet 2 days passed before the Navy evacuated them to another island. Jeton Anjain was a dentist in Rongelap, and because of what was happening to the people of Rongelap, he gave up his dental practice, became Minister of Health, and then a senator in the Marshall Islands Parliament. He had decided to fight. In 1957, the U.S. took the islanders back to Rongelap, assuring them that there was no longer any danger of radiation. But ever since, they have experienced thyroid cancer, widespread leukemia, deformed fetuses, and retarded growth. The U.S. Department of Energy studied the islanders and ran tests on them. Their consent was not asked, and they were told nothing of the results. Said a scientist from the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, while it is true that these people do not live the way Westerners do as civilized people, it is nevertheless also true that these people are more like us than the mice. In 1982, the department reported that the contamination of the island exceeded even that on Bikini, also evacuated but not resettled. For years, Jeton Anjain asked the Marshall Islands government and the U.S. government for help in evacuating the islanders, and there was no help. Then he had an idea. Greenpeace, and with the help of their ship, the Rainbow Warrior, he finally led the islanders to Majuro, the best temporary home he could find, and they were happy to get there. But they are still there. It is 1/10 the size of their homeland. The seas are rough, the fishing hard. There are no tree crops like Rongelap. The islanders, once self-sufficient, must depend on canned food donated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Senator Anjain wants his people back home. For years, he lobbied Congress for an independent radiation assessment of Rongelap, and in 1986, he was instrumental in getting that written into a treaty between the U.S. and the Marshall Islands. All well enough, until the Department of Energy issued another report. In 1988, it said that Rongelap was safe to resettle for healthy adult males, provided they avoided local foods. Hardly acceptable to Senator Anjain. After more lobbying, he at last persuaded Congress to fund humanitarian assistance and an independent health and radiological study. Jeton Anjain has not been well for some time, but nothing can weaken the determination of this modern-day Moses to see his people through.
I want peace and justice for the people. Make sure they're living in a place where there is no fear, only love.
For outstanding environmental achievement in Oceania, a 1992 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Senator Jeton Anjain of Majuro, Marshall Islands.